One here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, what we are trying in Jharkhand, because from the Jharkhand government we also have received the similar kind of request. So we have developed a kind of set of designs, that set of designs or kind of various techniques that can be used in a nutrition garden, because we thought that setting a specific design for the entire state is very difficult. So we have listed, say, 20 different kinds of possibilities of design, and who is applying, he can pick and choose, like I want to do these five, and then he can get the support. So we are trying to keep it as a basket, not fixing up as one kind of sacrosanct kind of design for the entire state. I think that itself is very important, like to allow diversity.
What can be the strategy to sustain NutriGarden?
I think one important thing is use of indigenous seeds, which I have highlighted in mine, because most of the time we are seeing the access and availability, timely availability of seeds is a major problem for a continuation of a nutrition kitchen garden. And second thing is water resource availability, and I think that is very very crucial for nutrition kitchen garden.
There was this question from Shrikant Mohanta. So what will be the problem if we use improved seeds, non-hybrid instead of indigenous seeds?
I would like to come in here, Bhavani. Well, start with the first is in terms of what ideally should be, because we're also linking it with biodiversity conservation and conserving the local and indigenously available seeds. So to that extent, to promote them and retain them, and again, by identifying the nutrient content and the richness in them. But then, where possible, we should also be open, like for instance, I mentioned the orange flesh sweet potato for addressing this particular problem of vitamin A deficiency. So that's also something where one can be open to. So in terms of improved or non-hybrid seeds, so where the farmers can retain the seed and reuse it, I think that's definitely a possibility. But important that it's all done in a participatory manner, taking the community into in consultation with the community and not thrusting something upon them, so that it's accepted and taken for a sustainable manner. I think the MNREGS initiative is a very, very positive initiative of including nutrition gardens under it. I was very excited when I saw the Orissa government circular with this provision that had been made, and especially in this COVID situation where it is kind of an initiative that can provide for promotion of local level food security, and through this means, I think that's a very, very positive initiative. But very important, I feel, is to bring in the agriculture department, the horticulture department to, the seed kits should come from the horticulture department because the access to quality seeds, planting material being an issue, and when we want it to spread at scale, so sensitization of the, for agriculture and horticulture to talk nutrition. It's not just production and productivity and doubling farmers' income, but nutrition as an important component. So that's also something we have been engaged in with different state governments and district right agriculture officers right from the district level upwards. But that's something which needs to happen. And so Krishi Vigyan Kendra, so the ICAR system, to recognize this as an important initiative that should be taken forward. And again, like I mentioned, the National Institute of Nutrition to come in and in terms of having this marriage. So if you want talking of a manual, we should also highlight what is the nutrient content in these different fruits and vegetables, and what will help in what way, the bioavailability, how much of it will be absorbed by your body. So how to take it forward in terms of processing. How to process so that the nutrient content is retained in the food. So simple levels of processing that can be done, and as an enterprise model by, say, self-help groups managing a community nutrition garden. So I think there is a lot that can be done, and I'll be very happy to be a part of any coalition that's formed to take this forward, and if that's on the agenda, and where we can discuss and come out with some concrete points. Dr. Agnihotri, you are going to be discussing how we go forward, but I feel that's something very in terms of the next steps, if that could be considered. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bhavani,
thank you.
given your IIT Bombay connection, we presume that you will be part of it. वो, in fact, I always quote what one of my friends had said once. वो IIT में एक workshop था, तो उसको पूछा कि तुम आ रहे हो? He said, आ रहा हूँ. तो another fellow asked, तेरे को invitation मिला क्या? So he said it in Marathi, but it in Hindi it translates as कि मैके आने के लिए बुलावे की जरूरत नहीं होती है. So since IIT is your Mecca, so you don't need a bulawa for that.
Thank you, all speakers. There's one question to Rajshri Madam Bayev. How do we address water and fencing in summer?
May I respond to this?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
I think I have responded already in the chat box. Oh, Rajashree is here. Please.
No, I am thinking actually. So in the meantime, you can respond.
Okay. So basically, I have spoken about a couple of things, which is keyhole garden, mulching, pitcher irrigation, circle garden. So all these are specifically for dry areas and especially for summer season. So you can follow those methods. And fencing, I mean, fencing in summertime is very difficult. But if the fencing is a live fencing, if you can include living plant, real plant in the fence, it will, one side it will be productive and it will also be self-sustaining. So if you plant trees, not only crops there, so they will generally sustain. So it is all about designing actually. So not having water is the solution of not having water is not always looking for water. It is always about what kind of crop you will plant which can sustain a drought kind of situation. So I think design and planning is very important component of addressing all these challenges in a garden.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all the speakers for taking all these questions, and given the paucity of time, we will not be able to take all the questions at this moment, and I would like to request all the participants to contact the speakers later for an elaborate discussion on their queries. I would now request Professor Satish Agnihotri to summarize the webinar along with the next steps. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Achal. First of all, a very big thanks to all the participants and the kind of knowledge store that is available. I think the whole idea is to take it from the seed level to a big tree level. While there is absolutely no doubt about the usefulness of the Nutri-Garden, the question that is facing us is how to scale up, number one, and number two, which various speakers have raised, how to sustain this. And I think therefore a beginning in the scale up has already been done. Thanks, as I said, to the initiative taken by Ministry of Rural Development through NREGA. And as Rajiv has clearly given the example, that government of Orissa has gone ahead and earmarked 500 crores through NREGA for that. So I think we need to essentially come up with a template, and I have already made a request to Rajiv to just document it in a couple of pages so that it is much easier to share it with different state government. Quite often, I mean, take it from me, coming from a bureaucrat, quite often when you come up with such an idea, the first question is कि अच्छा आपकी बात तो सही है सर, अब करना क्या है बताइए. Now when this करना क्या है बताइए happens, then we actually step back because we don't have that template ready with us. So I think if Rajiv does this exercise, we will actually be sharing it with the various state governments so that they don't have to reinvent a wheel. They can just adopt this idea. And mind you, in government, we always feel very comfortable if there is a model circular or a draft circular available somewhere else, because adapting it becomes easier. So that is one important task. Couple of important issues that also came up was the point that was raised by Devika about the diversity not necessarily translating into nutrition, and what Bhavani mentioned about the information about the nutrient content and the processing required. You might have something which is very useful, but if you don't remove the phytate, then the body doesn't absorb the nutrient. So I think that information also is required. The third part which came up in Professor Shah's presentation, some of the NGOs might have a slightly different view, but eventually it will sustain if we have some kind of a livelihood model. It may not be entrepreneur model, it can be a livelihood model. And he made a very important point of a chota poly house. So I think we could seriously look at something like a 2-cent poly house or a 4-cent poly house, give people a choice. And I think someone like Anshuman might really be useful to us in this kind of a design. He made an extremely important point that you need to have a menu of design and make it available to people. That gives me an important clue, and this is a task for both Jnaneshwar, who will be doing his master's project on this topic. So he is available for not just for a year, I think he will be available for 2 years with us. We should come up with a compendium which should be available on public domain. And we have done this exercise with the Department of Public Enterprises for the CSR best practices. So through CFNS, Jnaneshwar will be canvassing a format, a simple one-page format, where individual NGOs can list how, just give that one-page information, which will actually say who is to be contacted, how it is useful. If the compendium is available at one place, I think that is something which will be very useful for the people in the field, because today we are looking at, let us say, 100 NGOs or maybe 200 NGOs. But if 5,000 NGOs want to take up this particular exercise, where do they go? So I think we also need to create a ready to refer, ready to use ready to refer compendium, where they know, okay, this is roughly the pattern, this is roughly the cost, these are the people to be contacted for further details. I would request all the participants to kind of help us in generating this compendium. If Sujit permits, I think we can put it on CFNS's website, because the Coalition of Food and Nutrition Security actually has to look at food and nutrition together, and I think NutriGardens is one important route. One small point I will also mention is that in all the aspirational districts, Government of India has very clearly given guidelines this year. Earlier, the CSR expenditure of public sector undertakings was specified for health and education. This year, nutrition has been explicitly brought in. So it is health, education, and nutrition. Now what happens is the aspirational district administration or the district magistrate may be quite willing, yes, achhi baat hai, but they may not know how to go about it. So in addition to NREGA funding, aspirational district CSR is an additional source of funding for scaling up this idea and showing its feasibility. So we now already have the proof of concept, there is no doubt about it. We need to go for a scale up. So CSR from public sector undertaking in aspirational districts is another area. We are trying to persuade the Department of Public Enterprises to actually come up with this kind of explicit suggestion to the district कि आप अपने यहाँ NutriGarden को बढ़ावा दीजिए. So that is the second thing. Third thing, which some of the speakers very clearly mentioned, and that is where the intersector coordination becomes very necessary, is linking this NutriGarden with the concept of backyard poultry, or as some speakers said, something like a backyard fishery. The same person who is tending her NutriGarden, Mo Bagicha, if we may use Rajiv's term, there is no reason why they can't use growing of fish. And I think probably in Anshuman's presentation, it was very clearly brought out. So I think we need to have this kind of integration, but that's a question of further design. I mean, the design version 2.0 or 3.0. In fact, we could come up with NutriGarden protocols of 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, saying 3.0 कौन सा होगा जहाँ पे 3 चीजों का integration है, and so on and so forth. So I think we are looking at a design exercise, we are looking at a scale-up exercise, we are looking at a compendium exercise from the dissemination point of view. But a major hurdle that has now been crossed is the hurdle of the finances. My last request is this has to be publicized in local press in a very big way, telling people कि 14 फाइनेंस कमीशन का पैसा, नरेगा का पैसा और एस्पिरेशनल डिस्ट्रिक्ट का पैसा एंड जहां पे मिनरल फंड है वो पैसे, this is the money available to address the problem of your nutrition security. So why don't you put a pressure? So it can't become a people's movement unless there's a people's awareness and people's pressure. So I think that is the additional direction in which we have to work. I'll not take much time. What we are seriously thinking is, if in the month of September the Department of Public Enterprises agrees, we can probably have a much bigger, maybe half day or even 1 day workshop on how to take this idea forward. And ideally, we should look at 1 or 2 districts literally saturating themselves, or at least 1 or 2 blocks, we can say, which saturate themselves with the NutriGarden. And finally, the point that I made, we also need to project it that in the current time of the economic downturn and the return migrants, not all of them are going back. The return migrants are more skilled, they are more amenable to learning new practices, etc. And they might also be useful partners in this exercise of NutriGarden. So this is the other dimension that we need to think of. If we work on this together, I think we will be able to contribute something very meaningfully to the nutrition sector scenario and also to the economy. I think I'll leave it at that, and I would request and expect CFNS to take this NutriGarden movement as one of their kind of priority or focus themes, so that we can contribute towards its spread. So that is all I have to say, and I'm again thankful to all the participants because it boosts our confidence in the idea and the intersectoral convergence. We will see how it can increase. So over to you, Aanchal, and over to CFNS. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for summarizing today's webinar. It's always very inspiring to hear from you. I will, I think, take this opportunity to thank Professor Satish Agnihotri, Dr. Sujit Ranjan, Utpal, Dhyaneshwar, Orko, and Tripti for their support in conducting the webinar, and special thanks to speakers and participants for their overwhelming response. So I'll just hand over to Dr. Sujit Ranjan.
Thank you very much, Aanchal. And today, as Dr. Satish Agnihotri sir rightly pointed out, like this NutriGarden is definitely going to be an important agenda for the coalition. And this, the platform which coalition is having, I think it's an opportunity for us to bring all the key stakeholders, all the program leaders together. And we are very much confident that together we will make a difference in this regard. And the next agenda will be like after summarizing of all the learnings today, like from all the presenters, they have brought lots of learnings from the field, and what can be, what is possible. Like that's the most important confidence we are having. Yes, that is possible. And so based on that, we are going to plan it in a conference where we will engage the policy makers with us, and it's important to let them know and provide that confidence to them that how the government of India and the state governments can take this agenda forward along with us. So once again, thank you very much to all of you for your valuable time, for your sharing valuable learnings, and I'm confident that all of us will definitely make a difference in this regard. Thank you very much once again.